Good evening, family. Once again, you are tuned in to TWID Radio. If you don't see the title says Lyor Cohen writes Kanye concerning anti-Semitism. Okay, family. Let's see what these people got to say to Kanye again. Now, let me put a picture on the screen of the man who's going to be actually writing the letter. This Jewish guy, you should be familiar with him. If you heard him talk, you'd see that he's not really that intelligent. A lot of times we think these Jewish guys be, intelligent or whatever the case may be, but it's just money. That's all it is. It's just money. But anyway, Lyor Cohen writes to Kanye concerning anti-Semitism. Let me put this picture up for the Jew. I want to talk to the Jewish community, first of all, because I think they need to look at their own history, because we're tired of them talking to us. Now, keep in mind, family, this is the same man who sat on the Breakfast Club, and when he was asked about how he feels concerning the drugs and the music that's being played in the Black community, this Jewish man says, but I've got to feed my family. Now, this is what he says. It's quite funny that when it comes to the survival of their family and their people, they will break the bank and they will hold you and try to hold you accountable for saying any and everything that they deem something that's detrimental to their survival. But I want to look at some of the history concerning the Jews. Now, if you can read this, let me remove this right here, this comment. At the height of U.S. slavery, 78% of slave owners were Jewish. Since only 1.6% of the total population owned slaves and Jews made up 3.125% of the population, this means that 40% of Jews own slaves. 40% of Jews own slaves, while only 0.35% of whites owned slaves. You see, most people in general, I won't even say Black people, don't even realize who we were held captive by. They typically think of white man, white woman, European, Anglos. That's what many, especially Black people, but not only Black people, but white people tend to think, that our enslavement was in large part due at the behests of white people. No. Read the article. At the height of U.S. slavery, we're going to round that off. That's 80% of slave owners were Jewish. So, family, when you have somebody, the Jews, writing Kanye a letter, talking to him about slavery, wanting to chastise him about what they've went through as a people, you've got to keep in mind that what we went through were from his people, him. The same man who will sit on the Breakfast Club and say, I know I'm pushing reckless songs, reckless music into your community, into your neighborhood, but I've got to feed my family. And nobody looks at that as if it's anti-Black whatsoever. It's just the cost of doing business. Let's see what this gentleman has to say before I read the letter that he wrote Kanye. In 1820, over 75% of all Jewish families in Charleston, Richmond, and Savannah owned slaves. Employed as domestic servants, almost 40% of all Jewish householders in the United States owned one slave or more. There were no protests against slavery as such by Jews in the South, but very few Jews anywhere in the United States protested against chattel slavery on moral ground. So you see, when this man writes a letter to this man concerning hate, it seems a tad bit, and I won't even say tad, it's all out hypocritical, to say the least. See, these slave ships were owned by your people, Lyor Cohen, but you have the audacity to write a letter to this brother for what? Let's see what the letter is talking about, shall we? Let's see what he has to say about the letter. I'm going to read it. YouTube's global head of music, Lyor Cohen, who worked closely with Kanye West when he was CEO of Def Jam Recordings, has issued an open letter addressed to the superstar artist who has alienated much of the world with his hateful, anti-Semitic comments. Okay. In the letter, Cohen pleads West to be more sensitive to the pain your words inflict on Jewish communities and all those who stand against hate. See, this is where I have a problem, Lyor Cohen and the Jewish community. You're talking about words. You're talking about words. You're not talking about anything like this. You're not talking about anything like this. This is what you were a part of. Your people. You were a part of this right here. But you have the nerve, you have the audacity to write Kanye West and say, you stand against hate. You have the audacity to write a letter, and you know, see, these Jews know the truth. They know this picture that you see, this picture came from his people. He knows this. He knows this. But he'll have the audacity to write our brother Kanye a letter talking about what his people are going through based on words. No, sir. We went through hell on earth. We went through hell on earth. You don't know anything about this, Lyor Cohen. The Jewish community knows nothing about this, Lyor. Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, let's see something that y'all went through. Okay, let 1933 to 1945. That's what y'all went through. 12 years. This right here, sir, has been ongoing. But you have the audacity to write our brother about anti-Semitism as if he represents hatred towards your community. You see, sir, no, we never owned any of the, let me go back. We've never owned any of the slave ships. Your people, Lyor Cohen, 80% of y'all owned our people. But you have the audacity to write our brother and say, hey, mind your words. What about your actions? Name of the ship, Abigail, Crown, Nassau, Four Sisters, Anne and Eliza, Prudent Betty, Hester, Elizabeth, Antigua, Betsy, Polly, Whitehorse, Expedition. We can keep going. Sir, we can keep going. But let's see what the letter says, shall we? Cohen spoke, let me see. It says Cohen spoke at length about his past relationship with West during a conversation with Variety about anti-Semitism in the music. Wow, okay, so he's talking about anti-Semitism in the music industry. Sir, by and large, who owns the music industry? You see how these people do? You see? That took place 2 weeks before Hamas attack. Okay, let's keep going. Asked at the time whether he'd ever previously heard anti-Semitic comments from West, Cohen replied, never, never. I always saw that he was loose with his feelings, but I never heard a negative comment towards me or Jewish people, at least not in front of me. And I've had a lot of exposure with Kanye. So I was really thrown off and surprised that he felt that way. Well, maybe he felt that way, sir, because he's coming up with the truth, like a lot of us. Maybe he's feeling this way. A lot of people are feeling a certain way, sir, because of the truth. The truth is, the enslavement of Black people in this country, chattel slavery, the truth is 80% was by your people, not white people. So how would you feel as a Jewish man if you found out that, wait a minute, the truth is it wasn't those people who enslaved me and put me on ships. It was a whole nother group of people that enslaved me and put me on ships. How would you feel? We know how you would feel, because every time we turn around, you're saying something, not just you, but your people is saying something is anti-Semitic. Every time we turn around, something is anti-Semitic. You can't say anything that's not considered anti-Semitic. But you have the audacity to tell this brother, to write this brother a letter saying, be careful with your words. Although West was dropped from his talent agency 33 and West on Tuesday morning, his music and video content is still available on streams on platforms including YouTube. Dear Kanye, I am deeply disappointed and troubled by your recent actions involving the use of Nazi symbols and anti-Semitic rhetoric. Your words and actions are not only offensive, but triggering to all decent people who recognize the horrors of the Holocaust and suffering. Here we go again talking about the Holocaust. The Holocaust. So you mean to tell me, oh, you know what? Let's look at this right here. You mean to tell me, Lyor, Cohen, that the Holocaust, which was from 1933 to 1945, you mean to tell me that that was worse than this right here, chattel slavery? Is that what you would like for me to believe, Mr. Cohen? You would like for me to believe that our brother's words, whatever he said, was worse than us being put on ships, by and large, by Jewish slave owners. Lyor Cohen says, I am deeply disappointed and troubled by your recent actions. And I just read that. Let me go down. With anti-Semitism, here we go again. With anti-Semitism on the rise, your voice, and how is it that anti-Semitism is on the rise, but Black people are the ones still getting shot in the streets, sir? How is that every time I turn around, anti-Semitism is on the rise, but Black anti-hate is, I guess it's because we got a lot of mixed kids. There's no racism in America concerning Black people. We got a lot of mixed couples, mixed babies. So now racism is no longer an issue for Black people. Is that what you're saying, Cohen? He says, with anti-Semitism on the rise, your voice and influence carry a significant responsibility. I urge you to be more sensitive to the pain your words inflict on Jewish community. What? Okay, so he says, I urge you to be more sensitive to the pain your words inflict on Jewish communities and all those who stand against hate. Sir, his words and our words as a people have never did this to your people. You're telling Kanye to be more sensitive to the pain. Sir, do you know that the blood of our ancestors still cry from the ground? By and large, because 80% of your people own the slave ships that brought us here. But you have the audacity to tell our brother, be sensitive with his words. You see, this is the issue we have as a people. Everybody is telling us, be sensitive concerning anti-Semitism. Everybody's telling us, well, it's our responsibility to allow illegal immigrants to come over here. Everybody is telling us transgender hate is the same as slavery. No. Everybody is telling us everything except this right here, the truth. That the most protected people in America and in the world are the very ones who enslaved the Negro. But they have the audacity to tell one Negro, Kanye, they have the audacity to tell one Negro, hey, be careful with your words. He says, your talent and reach could be used to heal and inspire, to bridge, divide, and promote understanding. Instead, you've chosen a path. No, he hasn't chosen a path, sir. This is the path. This is the path that your people put us on. Look at how we got here. Now you go tell your history, Lyor. Let's find your history and see how you got here. We know how we got here. How did you get here, sir? When you did get here, see, listen, this right here isn't in America, Lyor. No. This isn't in America. This is not even in America, on American soil. But this is. You see? But this is. You see? So when this brother right here says whatever he says concerning you and your people, you should just give us a pass. You know why? Because y'all did it to us. Yeah, you did it to us. And make no mistake, we're going to get our reparations and we're going to get vindicated. Yes, Lyor, we understand what you want. You want us to shut up. You want the Negro to shut up and just protect and uphold that word anti-Semitism. But when we start checking the paperwork and we start checking the invoices and we run into something like this and we see that, wait a minute, your people at the height of U.S. slavery own 80% of our people. Yeah, that's when you get the pushback. That's when this brother and a lot of brothers start talking fly. Because what makes you so important? What makes you so special that you can tell us about hate? Brother, please. And I'm not calling you brother, because we know you a lot of things, but you're not my brother. Family, you've been rocking with TWID. TWID stands for That's What I Do. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The truth is out, family. We know who we are, and we know whose we are. All praises to the Most High.